to see that. You always get that out of the APAC teams, and these teams, they know each other well, as you discussed. A lot of respect going to be paid here. Now, as we go into the operator ban phase, it's a start ban with the Monty. Cloud9 saw what CAG or CYCLOPS were bringing against DZ in their match prior with that MONTAGNE, and C9 says, no, none of that, please. We will go ahead and we'll skip over that.
Now, Jackal's going to join him here. So that means that there's a couple things that are going to be available because of this deliberate ban on the MONTAGNE. Maverick is going to be free. Ace is not obviously going to get banned. No potential Thermite ban. We've seen Thermite get used a little bit more today than usual. And the reason for that is, well, Michael, there's smokes on Thermite now. We're playing on a totally different meta. The smokes are gone from Ace. Thermite has access to them. Thatcher is also available. So if you're going to be bringing a Kaid, if you're going to be bringing a Bandit, which almost never happens, if you're going to be bringing a Mute, there is a hard counter on the board now for Thatcher who is available. VALKYRIE and MOZZIE as well will be the bans. And MOZZIE in particular is not exactly the usual operator to get seen on defense here. So Cloud9's bans are Monty and MOZZIE. What a surprise that is.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one that we see there for Cloud9. MOZZIE isn't actually a consistent operator for CYCLOPS, generally speaking, at least. And when you narrow it down to Consulate, it's still not. So it's just something that Cloud9 doesn't want to deal with. So, yeah, sure, get rid of whatever you want to get rid of. You can see that those, pretty much all these operators, actually, that are being banned out are all information operators. That's including MONTAGNE. So, smart bans all across the board on a map like Consulate where information is going to reign supreme. And what is this, Parker? C9 bringing the Lord.
I mean, there's been some changes to him as well, and I'm glad that we're going to see him right off the rip. There's a couple things that changed with this most recent patch. Number one, Tachanka got buffs across the board. He pulls out his weapon faster now, transitions between weapons faster. His fire lasts a little longer, detonates a little bit faster, does a little bit more damage.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, the buffs that we saw as well were to his LMG, but Nova's not going to run that. Nova's just going to go with the standard default SMG that comes with Tachanka and Capkin. That is quite a reliable gun. And it's also worth noting as well, I'm sure the other casters have talked about it through the litany of matches we've seen today. There are preferences as to what operators get brought and what guns are brought on a LAN environment versus online. The operator that got banned, MOZZIE, the P90 gets brought, or sorry, the Roni rather, gets brought a lot because of how much damage it does and how consistent it can be online. There's another operator on the board, Twitch, whose F2 is quite reliable on LAN versus how it is online as well. So these are just small things to look out for, and I wonder if that's a part of potentially why we see the Lord bringing that instead of the LMG.
You know, both of those guns, the LMG and the SMG on the Tachanka, do have low DPS overall. But it's still high rate of fire and the low recoil of the SMG that can make it a little bit more consistent for some players. Now, early on here in the round, that's an odd Selma there from Suzu on the wall, but he's going to get the actual breach open on both sides. No contention from the defenders, apart from potentially some Ute jammers, but because Thatcher's in play, that's a non-factor. Mirror windows are both looking towards that breach, so C9 already have a good prospect for dissuading the push-in through the main garage panel. A vertical play here from CYCLOPS, and it's going pretty much uncontested for C9. They do have NB Taylor in a roam position to flank at any moment, but it's being watched.
Yeah, neither he nor the Twitch are moving an inch, so it's going to be who blinks first, whether it be BlackRay or NV Taylor. If the Mute pushes up to try and contest the Sledge of Gutterata inside a piano, then BlackRay will have no problem catching him by the double doors into lobby. In fact, there's a Z ping, and I'm sure NV Taylor is aware of this as he's going to scamper off. Also worth noting that a lot of times we'll see the Mute, nice shot to start things off, taking out Gator onto CYCLOPS, so Cloud9 gets the opening pick here. First blood for them with a minute to go. And NV Taylor in particular, he's going to be running the MP5 instead of the shotgun. The versatility that we usually see with those SAS operators, we'll usually see a shotgun with the SMG-11 as their secondary, but there's plenty of remodeling potential on C9 side of things. CYCLOPS will refrag onto Suzuko, and well, that's it. It's a 4v4 now as Suzu tries to go in and get the plant off. He's in front of White Van. Static is poised up, waiting. He's got one toxic canister left. He's throwing it out, but he's missed it, so there's still one in his pocket if need be. Harp Harper swings in, takes out Suzu, down he goes. Pennington tries to escape as best as he can. You know how hard it can be to retake once the attackers have vacated the bomb site. That's not going to happen at all. Still from above, the Sledge is watching and waiting as he and BlackRay have their work cut out for them. They're doubled up on in numbers, and C9 are going to attempt the retake on that main floor. Down on the diffuser, there's NV Taylor, looks for one, doesn't get the other, so Gatoretta will try his best. He takes out the Lord, SMG-11 in hand, but he cannot be stopped as Harper hops on, and it's an easy disable. First round goes to Cloud9.
Oh, that was a really weird round, Parker. Cloud9 setting themselves up to play their lives, play for a passive retake on a bottom floor consulate defense. You do not see that very often. You mentioned it during the shoutcast, and I agree with you. It's really difficult to retake that post plant, but C9 set up for it, and it amazingly worked. I'm surprised. I'm impressed, but I'm also surprised. So well done to C9 on the retake. The passive play and playing for their lives worked out well. Also, having those roamers still in play, not being hunted down in entirety upstairs by Cyclops, that's a huge blunder for Cyclops. Letting the roamers just linger caused so many problems in the end. An interesting round to be sure, but mistakes made on both sides, I would say. More on Cyclops' side, just specifically for not clearing out those roamers.
It seemed like the only player from Cyclops that was tasked with any kind of roam clear was the Ash of Alligator, who went upstairs immediately losing that fight on first contact with NV Taylor. And what ends up happening? Well, so much of Cyclops are focused on a site execute that they've only got one other player inside a piano, and then the other three are all along the breach. There's nobody else to take Ash's place. Now, with a map like Consulate, it is not uncommon whatsoever to have two roamers play deep off-site. We'll see somebody defending garage downstairs. That's all right. You've got presence from the defenders on the top floor and on the mid floor. And because it's such a narrow and linear map, if you control two stairwells, you can basically control the tempo of most of this map. It's very easy to pinch defenders if you know what you're doing, especially if you send the appropriate amount of people after it. But the problem with Consulate is that, well, you end up forfeiting some of that same presence on the site. In that last particular round, Cyclops spent too much time targeting the site while not doing due diligence to get those that were playing off-site, and it ends up coming back to bite them.
Top floor here for C9. Now, statistically, the top floor has proven to be a pretty inadequate bomb site in some regions, but Cloud9 clearly feeling confident. Really clear downstairs for Cyclops. BlackRay down by himself. No clear drone work being done to assist him.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Just trying to control the bottom floor, deny any deep roams from Cloud9 that might happen to be in play. None right now. Looks like a CEO pressure is a primary focus for Cyclops. They're going to get good information early on. Jaeger playing in CEO. Very dangerous position to play. You leave yourself extremely exposed. And there it is. The cross will work out, though. Amazing that that's not a punish there for Cyclops. And you even see him get healed up as well.
Child managed to get out of there with all of his HP intact, or at least as much of it as he could, before getting healed back up from the dock of Static. And Nova's now going to gamble his life on a window repel by Yellow. Diffuser is down as well as we hit the halfway mark of the round, and Nova will smoke off any point of contact. Nobody able to repel in, and there's a long line of sight as well that can be held down too. Doesn't matter, C9 with first blood. They'll take out Gatoretta. It's the second round in a row that they've been good on that first bit of action. Anytime those going to swing right in, take matters into his own hands, manages to clip Nova, and he gets down. Static finishes him off. Advantage still in favor of C9, though, as they'll trade blows back and back. Shile with one, Harper another. And now it's all left on the shoulders of Alligator. The Ash will swing in, take a head off of Static, but that's all she wrote for that round, and two in a row for Cloud9.
I really love what we saw there from Cyclops in the synced repellent on Yellow Stairs and Bathroom, but even though it was cool to watch, it didn't work. Cloud9 were prepared for the most part. They did lose their player on Yellow Stairs, but what is that really but a limb? And the body survived. Cloud9, 2 rounds in a row, looking very fierce here on Consulate defense, and they've managed to completely stonewall Cyclops at every approach they present. Interestingly, Cyclops' attacks are very linear. we did see, of course, BlackRay in the basement there, potentially on a flank later in the round. But overall, CYCLOPS' main focus was just let's repel in. That's a very dangerous play, especially when you don't have any leadoff picks to make it happen. You do need to get some amount of control before going for a repel strategy like that. CYCLOPS didn't have the control they needed. They didn't have the frags they needed, and it sure did cost them in the end, Parker.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the game plan is for BlackRay as well. You've got a Twitch, you've got a FAMAS. This is an operator that you'll usually see in the action more often than not. And what we've seen from Twitch being played today over the span of the 5 or 6 matches that I've been able to tune into is that you want your Twitch in a position to frag out. That's just the way it works. I think BlackRay's positioning is entirely flank watch, whether it be downstairs, whether it be at Zulu window by bench, which is where he was in the very first round. And I kind of have to question that choice because I'm not entirely certain with the fact that APAC is right now what is arguably the most aggressive region. Having such a passive player in BlackRay on that Twitch on attack here on Consulate is a misuse of the operator, in my opinion.
I mean, you got the lockup on the flanks, right? Like, at least you're sure that you're going to be safe there. And I mean, he potentially has the late flank roll. You know, there could be some work made out of that. We didn't see what happened to him last round, so maybe that's exactly what happened. But there are other operators that you can bring to fulfill that role as well. So it's just a questionable thing. We'll see how that plays out moving forward. It's only 2 rounds in, so there's time for change here, time for that difference that CYCLOPS is expecting BlackRay to make to happen. In this round, look at this. Habana Exkyros used on the bathroom wall to force the reposition here. And it'll work out, but it works out for C9, not CYCLOPS. Good positioning inside a bathroom and the leadoff kill for C9.
And Shyle there in this position could go for a second. He's got intel, and the tracers will give away the position of the attacker on repel. Suzu will engage in a 1v1, potentially to his demise if he swings on in, and he's tempting fate at this point. Gator on repel as well. Not able to get the cross that they need. The cross would come from connector window, but Gator will be watching towards that desk and towards connector as well. C9 a second kill, but BlackRay, there you go, in on the action. The FAMAS good enough for 2 picks as BlackRay now soldiers on downstairs. Defuser needs to be picked back up. It will get done. And now Gatorada will need to get towards the bomb site. 90 seconds off of the clock. A 3v3 as the action has subsided and will likely end up with a bit of a lull here.
Now, see, that's what we were just discussing. What was the game plan for BlackRay? That basement presence, that late flank opportunity presented itself, and CYCLOPS, BlackRay in particular, capitalized. Now in the 3-on-3, this is the closest CYCLOPS have really looked like they're going to be able to take a round. Of course, round number 1, they did get that post plan on bottom floor, and you might expect them to take it, but the manpower just slipped away so quickly. So here and now, good opportunity for the attack. Now, Gator's going to try and put some vertical on the site. Looks like Piano is the focus here. The one big problem for CYCLOPS is that they're not going to have a lot of refrag potential because they're so split up.
And Shyle hears the phone calls, but he doesn't really care either way. Peeks around the pillar on yellow stairs, taking out BlackRay, and he knows that there's another as well. Down goes Gator, and Shyle doing what he needs to do best. 5 kills to his name through these 3 rounds. Gatorada's in the middle of the site, can't connect onto the smoke, but he takes out Nova in the process. 20 seconds remaining. Try to isolate, but that smoke gets caught by an ADS. Toying with the Jaeger. Tracers go out, but there's a crossfire established. Harper from one direction, Shyle from the other. Harper's credited with that kill, and it's 3 in a row for C9.
Wow. C9 so clutch in these close engagements. And the biggest thing is that when their backs are against the wall, they're still managing to take the fight to the enemy. Shyle's play there on yellow stairs really clinched the round. 2 easy frags, 3 for him total in the round, and yeah, that's the problem when you have all of your attackers so split up. CYCLOPS, a little bit far field from each other, not able to get together and organize an actual execution onto the site. Piano seemed to be their focus, but because they weren't able to get into the positions that they wanted to actually get to Piano, thanks to Shyle's play, it just caused too many problems. It's interesting because they had opportunities to group up in other locations. Like, they don't necessarily need to play. If you're CYCLOPS, you don't have to play vertical in a 3-on-3. There was no one upstairs. You know, Shyle did rotate late, but it's still, you know, he rotated to address your presence on the top floor, not necessarily to play the vertical game. So there's a lot of options where Cyclops maybe group up as a team and go for that execution together, and they manage to put themselves on the board. But that's not what we saw.
So far, Cyclops have shown through these two best of ones that they've competed in that there's some trouble in the water for them heading into this event. But I mean, there have been a couple teams that have shown some struggles so far today as well. And just obviously divorcing ourselves of the APAC conversation, as this is the first all APAC matchup that we're going to see. We won't have a ton of opportunities, by the way, as due to COVID restrictions, Wildcard was not able to compete at the event. So as much as it would have been nice to see them, we won't be able to. But today's story for all of these matches has been the dominance of Latin America. Liquid obviously lost out to Empire earlier, but other than that, it's been all Brazil so far today. So for the fans, they will rejoice. For APAC fans, you're guaranteed a victory here, and only one team is going to be going home in the groups.
Ooh. That was a rough nade there. The Impact did manage to get the second Selma. There were 2 placed, which means 4 total sets, or pieces rather, and the 2 from the bottom Selma did not detonate, meaning that is now a vault hole instead of a walk hole, which is not ideal for Cyclops. Now, they don't have any more Selmas to correct that, and it's just a little bit unfortunate. Good use of an impact there from what I believe to be Harbor.
And once again, going back to the fact that there are no smokes on Ace any longer, and there's a reason why we're seeing Dokkaebi and Twitch be brought with the reliance that we've seen through a number of these matches today, and that's because they both have access to smokes. You have become so reliant on an operator on attack that has access to that. G2 was also running Glaz for a while, so you're going to be able to pull off these executes. You're going to need smoke if you want to do that correctly. So Ace obviously doesn't do the trick any longer. Thermite can be brought in a pinch if need be.
You know, one thing to note about this defensive lineup is that every single one of these defenders have some sort of indirect denial. C4, gas canisters, the mollies from Nova, the Evil Eyes from Harper. There is on every single one of those players some way to deny a plant without being in an exposed position. And I think that really plays into, or rather, it is being deliberately picked that way by Cloud9 because they want to play this passive set on the bottom site. They've done this before. Let's see if it works out the second time.
The other thing, too, is that Cyclops wasn't particularly interested in being all that aggressive. First take on this site, round number 1, didn't really work out in their favor. They're just storming on in now, though. 50 seconds remaining. Plenty of time for them to pull this off, and they're looking to grab control of the site. On his belly, Suzu is going under the wire. Envy traded out on yellow stairs as Cyclops has the upper hand. They're in a 4v2. Anatin still positioned up on yellow stairs as it's Shyle and Static left as the last 2 members of C9. They're hold down by double doors, long hallway. Shyle, a beautiful shot onto that. Diffuser goes down, spraying away with the Vector, but long range. You know that's a troubling shot. You know that's hard to hit. Static now will be the one to try and stop all of this. With the Diffuser down and time ticking away, there's one body from Cyclops above. Static's going to have to retake out towards that garage panel as well. This is almost impossible, if not entirely impossible. They end up losing the round, and Cyclops takes their very first after rushing into the site.
You talked about it, Parker, and you were right. Last time, it was a very similar site setup there from Cloud9, passive play. But Cyclops didn't read into it very well that first time around. They weren't able to detect, hey, you know, we kind of can just walk in, go for the plan, and play it in the post. This time around, Cyclops didn't even need to get to that point. The entry was good enough. Cloud9 leaving themselves just exposed enough in the site for Cyclops to get those lead-off picks. And then that man advantage, that control over the engagement was never relented upon by Cyclops. You love to see play like that, and it's the best we've seen from Cyclops so far through this map. Well, overall, given that kind of performance that we just saw there, you know, it was looking like Cyclops were just about ready to be checked out. They show some life when it matters most. I think that's the main takeaway from that round. I again, love the objective play from Cyclops 2. Even when they're losing rounds, they are playing that objective.
Hey, look, that's my mom.
Oh, yeah.
Terra mom tweeting. You want to read it? You go ahead. You read it. You read it.
A little late, but wishing all the teams good luck.
Doesn't sound like that.
Have fun.
Doesn't sound like that.
Good. This is going to be good. Let's go.
10 seconds remaining.
Thanks, Mom. You know, never thought there'd be a day where I would be working in esports, and I certainly never thought there'd be a day that something my mom has to say would be featured on an esports broadcast, let alone the biggest esports broadcast of the year for us. So, hey, cool. I wanted to say she's made it, but I mean, she already knows that. So,
yeah, I think we can all agree that she's made it even more than you have, Parker.
I don't think we can agree with that.
Yeah, so
I
anyway,
refuse to agree with that.
As I was saying, CYCLOPS, setting up their second attack onto the top floor here. And last time they tried this, they were all on rappel. They all just tried to go in off the rappel, and they all died doing that. So I wonder if there's going to be a different strategy. That's my main consideration here, because it looks like it's the same, except for specifically this time it's a yellow stairs focus with little bathroom presence.
I mean, they changed some minor things up with their second execute downstairs, so it doesn't surprise me at all, or it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw some small tinkering with the strategy of CYCLOPS here. Now, one of the big problems that they had were the console office window repels. They were able to successfully get rid of Nova when they swung into yellow, but until they got to that point, they were really battling where Gator is right now, and he was actually the last surviving member of this team. So while the rest of CYCLOPS got depleted over the map, he held on. If he can get some intel here, potentially swing in, or at least wait for somebody to take control of yellow, that will dramatically improve the Ash on Rappel of console Windows success rate.
Oh, exposing the back there. Static gives an opportunity for Gator to do some damage, but luckily for Static, he's still got a stim. No kills for either team yet. Again, it's very split up CYCLOPS here. As you can see, there's one player playing each position and angle. Again, that leaves you very exposed with little refrag potential, but thus far, C9 have not punished. They have, though, managed to maintain control of all the major key positions that allow you to deny a push into the building. That's part of how you play on this map. Rappel in from the Gatorada sledge, and that's questionable. Nova will take that freebie.
I mean, I think he was expecting to have the same success that he had before, which was punishing Nova amidst the smoke, maybe amidst the frenzy or fury of the sounds, not hearing that rappel go out. Regardless, it doesn't work one bit. And there you can see another stim goes out, and with just like that, CYCLOPS have control of yellow, and they're going to continue to punish C9, dominating the kill feed, everybody falling except for Harper. It's a 1v4, but he's got in his hands that MP5, the Rook trying to do what he does best, playing off the bomb chassis. He's inside a meeting. He knows that he's got some gunfire to his right, but he's going to be swung from connector and lose the fight, and CYCLOPS pick up their second in a row.
Well, they're going to need every round they can get. Big round there from Enatune, and well, the rappel strat worked this time. Interesting. All right. A big part of that is the yellow focus with the lighter bathroom presence and the more emphasis placed on refrag potential. I've been talking about this ad nauseum at this point. When it comes to CYCLOPS, they have a tendency to leave themselves very thinly spread. Not that round. That round, even though the initial entry from Gatorada was stopped by C9, they actually managed to still eventually get the control of yellow because there were so many other players on CYCLOPS in redundant positions, and that is when you are able to, as a team, take a position. That is when you're able to then take the round. Too much individual play from CYCLOPS is why they cost 3 rounds early on in this map. Now that they've managed to figure out their teamwork, we see them start racking up these rounds.
They've just made some small, minor adjustments. And I mean, obviously, when you're going up against C9, and you talked about it before we actually got into this matchup, these are two teams that actually square off quite a lot. They play in APAC North, and C9 tends to come out as the victor. Well, you have so much knowledge on each other that small adjustments over the course of a round, small adjustments over the course of a matchup can make a huge difference. And we need to talk about it quite frequently. The only momentum that exists in this game is in your head. That's it. There's no comeback potential. You don't have to deal with any kind of monetary system. There's no money, no abilities that you have to juggle. You get the same thing every single round. So if you're not able to keep up with your opponents mentally, if you get defeated or worn down, as I'm almost certain some of the losses that we've seen today, some heartbreaking defeats, have solely been mental defeats. If you can't keep up with that team, make small adjustments, stay in the game mentally, then you're going to get punished for it. And CYCLOPS over the last 2 rounds have been taking advantage of the fact that Cloud9 really haven't changed up all that much, while they themselves have been making incremental changes.
And here is a big change here. It's a Taylor's Archives defense for C9. And the leadoff kill you're talking about being punishing, well, Gadarada punished for his completely unbridled aggression. Now, I understand the idea behind bringing in Amaru and just going, woo, let's go. It did not work. And that is as it may be. Whether it's going to work or not, it's like a 50-50, really. I like the idea from CAG because it shows that they have initiative, and it shows that they're not, when you talk about the mental game, they're not getting discouraged mentally. That's great, but now they have to work from a deficit.
Gator now creeping up spiral stairs. He's got his teammates in on the fun. BlackRay with one, Aniton another. Team swapping out at this point as, well, the site seems to be within reach. He's going to toy with it. 90 seconds to go, and the rhythm of this site in particular is just simply bait out the nitro cells and try to survive, but Gator wins that fight directly against NV Taylor, who tries to retake. It's just the Ash now to cover as the Thatcher of Anyton gets the diffuser down. The retake, though, for C9 looking to work out quite well. Anyton finished off, and C9 will take it the first half. As they get on that diffuser, goes in C9's favor, 4-2.
Okay, odd little whisper in my ear, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but I'm gonna echo what I was told. Apparently, this round might need to be replayed due to a technical issue.
Okay.
And yeah, so the beginning of the round, there was a technical issue. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen here. This is just what I'm being told. So that 4-2 scoreline might be, might have to put a pause on that one. We'll find out in due course. As it seems like the match is still going, so there seems to be some sort of disconnect somewhere in the lines of communication. We'll find out what changes when it does.
Well, in the meantime, all we can do is wait. So obviously the admins will need to weigh in on this. Our producers don't have all of the up-to-date information, as the admins need to confer first. And then when there is some form of resolution, it will be relayed to us.
Yeah.
It'll be a tough break for Cloud9, as that first half was theirs 4-2. But if we do need to replay that round, the question then becomes, what replay rules kick in? Because technically, under most rule books and under most circumstances, you have to go to the same site. You need to pick the same operators. That would be devastating for Cloud9, as CYCLOPS would have had a full look at what the defense had laid out.
Yeah, and also, and if we're talking about restarting the round from zero, that Amaru play where you're just yeeting into the building and dying, giving the leadoff, pick to C9. Well, you don't have to do that. So it's gonna, you'll have to play Amaru again, but you can choose not to suicide rush into the building, and that will give CYCLOPS a significant leg up if that's how things play out. Again, we are unsure as to the exact resolution the admins are going to call for here, so we don't even know if that's going to happen. We're just guessing at potential eventualities. There's a lot going on. Heck, the players don't even know what's going on either. I just watched one of the players type in chat TO ? Asking if there's a timeout or something. So clearly the communication is not abundant right now. You can see a little bit of jovial question marks going on here. Now the players are talking about how they can't 6-pick. Nobody knows what's happening.
So a brief update. Right now we are being told that it is likely that the round will be replayed, but we are waiting for the call. League Ops obviously will be deciding this. So far, according to production and what has been relayed to us, we do not have an answer as to why the round is going to need to be replayed. So hopefully at some point we will get an answer in that regard. But before we get to the reason for why it may need to be replayed, we need to wait and see if it will be at all. So I'm not sure what the confusion is here right now, but if anybody's curious as to why you get these lovely views of the player cams, that's the reason why.
Yeah, I guess, Parker, let's just talk about what we've been seeing so far through Consulate. Number one, my big takeaway here is that it is as exciting as we all hoped it would be, given that we're playing both of these teams' best maps. Now, again, the pressure on CYCLOPS here is pretty immense. They haven't lost Consulate they have, I think, a 16 win rate on this map, so they don't tend to lose here. Big for them that they do take the dub. Obviously, it'd be also big to take a win against Cloud9, a team that typically beats CYCLOPS. On Consulate, specifically regarding the strategy we've seen employed, it's been a wide range of attacks from CYCLOPS. Some structured, some, really together as a team. Others, setting the net wide, trying to go and fish out those picks as individual players. Sometimes, a random Amaru rush to try and get the lead off. And other times balling up as a team and executing well together. So I like the adaptability from CYCLOPS. They are showing that they are not a rigid team, and that is really good in this game, to be able to change on the fly when the situation calls for it.
So we do have an update, by the way. There was apparently an issue with TeamSpeak, which is what the teams are using to communicate. There was a TeamSpeak issue. The call has been made that we will not be replaying the round. Now, obviously, there was information that was given to us a couple minutes ago that said that it was almost a certainty that we were going to be replaying the round. So, presently, I am being told to tell you that we are not going to replay the round. We are waiting on final confirmation on that. But there might be a remake happening anyway. We'll try and update you as best as we can, because right now, believe us, we have the same information that you have at the moment. And additionally, I feel like this is an appropriate time to say this. Michael, you want to know something funny?
I would love to know something funny, Parker.
You and I have the same amount of wins at the Six Invitational today as G2 does.
We do?
How many wins do you have at the Six Invitational today?
0?
Wow, so does G2.
Okay. Today, if you zoom out past today, they've got a long record of winning here. In fact, I think it might be the largest of any team ever. But, that's neither here nor there if we're just talking about today, Parker. Oh, boy.
All right, well, the call that we're getting right now is that the lobby is being remade and the team should be in hopefully soon. I don't know if the technical issue has been sorted or not, but the call as it stands at the moment, as we fill time, and we appreciate all of you, by the way, being with us here and your patience, is the lobby needs to be remade, regardless of whether there's a replay of that previous round or not. The call that we are being told is that no, there will be no replay. We are just going to go back in 4-2. So as it stands at the moment, Cloud9 wins that first half 4-2. But the lobby does need to be remade. So it's going to be a bit of time until we're into the actual matchup itself. This is the perfect time, by the way, to do a little bit of chat interaction. Michael, I would like chat to show us their favorite emote, if they could do that. I know that everybody here in chat has their favorite emote. Just share it. Just share your favorite emote. That's all I want to see. I don't care what it is. Let's pretend that we're in emote only mode. Share your favorite emote and we'll go on with it. And you can keep yourselves busy as we have to babysit chat for just a moment.
What is your favorite emote, Parker?
That's a tough one, Michael. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I wasn't really prepared to answer that question.
Mine is either LOL or KEKW. I like both of them. I know there's like a battle of which is preferred, but I just like both of them and use them interchangeably. KEKW
is very good. I like LOLW as well. If I remember correctly, they turned on BT TV and Frankers. I believe they turned them on, so they should be in there. I also really like Goddess's angry emote.
Oh yeah,
I know you like that one a lot. That one is incredible. It's like if there's any Goddess subscribers in there, if you could demonstrate in the chat,
show the world.
Show the world. Her emote, it's like a red angry face that she drew in paint. It's wonderful.
I don't have it.
You are no longer subscribed to Goddess on twitch.television. Very good, Michael.
I switched phones recently, and what happened was that all my Twitch subs were on my phone, and then since I switched off that phone to like a totally different service, a lot of my subs got canceled, so I have to re-up them.
Okay.
I'm seeing some of the. I'm still seeing the frowny face. What?
How's your phone have anything to deal with Twitch? You should be using your credit card.
Well, no, because the subs that I was making were through the payment platform of the app store on the particular phone I was using, and I switched to a different platform. Are you following me here?
I triangulated the hypotenuse to know exactly how to spend my money, and I used a certain app on my phone which tracked my monthly income, and then because of that, I was able to subscribe to people on my other Twitch app.
I just switched from one brand of phone to another, and they have different app stores, so different routes to subscribe.
Why don't you just subscribe to people like a normal human?
Well, on your PC and stuff? Through Twitch directly?
Yeah.
Because I'm lazy.
It sounds like it takes way more effort to do it on your phone than it does to do it on the computer.
It's like one tap. It's like one or two taps on your phone. And that's usually if I'm watching Twitch, I'm watching it on my phone 90% of the time. Do you know that a wide majority, or I don't know if it's a majority, I feel like a lot of people though, they watch Twitch on their phone.
You started out with being like, did you know you're about to assert something? That a wide majority immediately walks it back. It might not actually
the last time I looked at those statistics
quick pivot.
The last time I looked at those statistics for me was like years ago. So at least for me, a large majority of my viewership is on phone.
I just like how you start with an assertion. I have the numbers and the data to back this up.
I don't want to say I
actually don't.
I was almost there. Hey, I stopped myself. Why are you giving me heck for it? Well, you got to be like that, Parker. I
don't know. I was born this way. Why don't you ask my mother, whose tweet was on the screen just a couple minutes ago?
I didn't see it. What did she say?
You literally read it. What do you mean you didn't see it?
Oh, you mean that one? I thought she made another tweet or something. I remember that one. I was you said a couple minutes ago. That was not a couple minutes ago. That was it was more than a couple minutes ago, that's for sure.
For those of you that are wondering what the hell is going on here and why we are constantly talking about things
that are... This is the Kicks and Parker Show. Welcome to our podcast.
Unrelated.
Hold up a chair. I hope you have some tea and you're ready to hang out with us and discuss today's book, which is going to be... what's today's book, Parker?
I don't know.
All right. Today's book will be A Tale of Two Cities. Charles Dickens.
I mean, we're at SI right now, remotely, waiting on a delay. It is literally the best of times, and it is also the worst of times right now. So
exactly.
I think it fits.
Yeah.
It is funny. It is funny because I bet I don't have chat open. I don't actively watch chat while casting because I think that it liquefies my brain. But I will tell you this. I always take some perverse delight whenever there's a delay and we have to fill, potentially for 2 minutes, 10 minutes. There were times back in Poland where we had to fill for 20 minutes. And that was after only a round or two of gameplay. So God help us. Longer than that, because we'd fill and then we'd go to break and we'd come back and then we'd fill and then go to break.
No, there was a time, you said 20 minutes. There was a time where we did it for hours. I remember it was a LATAM match. And the thing about the LATAM region back in the day was that their admins enforced the rulebook slightly differently. And so when there was a delay for something, like a team usually was supposed to be disqualified after like 25 minutes or so, but they would push that to like 40 minutes. And I remember, you know, we were doing that back and forth thing, off break, on break, off break, on break, back and forth for like hours. I think it was like an hour and a half trying to get a team into play because their internet kept dropping. It was a fun time. Whoa, we got the game! Parker, we did it! Whoa, we made it!
We are in game, which is cause for celebration. Chat, are you ready? I can't see them, but I'm assuming they're ready. If you're ready, can you please spam R? Just the letter, not the word, not A-R-E, not our, O-U-R. No, just R if you're ready, please. Nothing else. But I was going to say, by the way, before we started talking about how we were filling, I get like this perverse pleasure in whenever we have to fill for a long period of time and we just really don't have a ton to talk about because we've already done most of the post-round analysis. You're still really early into either an event or whatever, is that there's always that one person. There's always at least one. And if you're in the stream right now, I'm talking to you. So perk up. I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. There's always one person who says this. Why do these casters talk so much?
Start the game.
Believe me.
Yeah.
I would like nothing more than to have my words be accompanied by moving pictures of gameplay.
I mean, that is our job. Yeah.
I don't want you to mauled in chat wondering why we're talking. We were getting dangerously close to talking about what we ate for dinner last night. That's where we were going.
I had sausage and mash.
You're gonna say sausage and mash when you have a layup to say bangers and mash. Anyway.
Well, it's the same thing. It just worded differently.
I mean, at least you didn't have beans on toast. That's horrible.
I actually like beans on toast. Thank you very much.
All right, Michael, we're into the action. Round number 7. Cloud9 did take that first half. We talked about it. There was some confusion, but no, it went in their favor. So they're at 4-2 now over CYCLOPS. CYCLOPS on defense. They'll be starting on the basement here in Garage.
And we're seeing the alibi brought out by Gatarada, and we've seen this operator a few times. She's not especially useful in terms of utility, but she could be just a little bit distracting at times, and shaving off seconds on the round at this level can really go a long way. MB Taylor going to be bringing that Nomad, so very different lineups between these teams, by the way. They're switching things to their specific preferences as we transition into the second half. Cloud9 definitely in the lead with 4-2, but that lead, as we've talked about before, can evaporate before your eyes if you're not careful. It does seem like Cloud9 are in command of this, but they really haven't won quite yet. There's a lot of work yet to do, and since they haven't cleared out Gatarada, he's causing problems.
Well, yeah, he absolutely is. Envy Taylor gets that opening pick, but he's swiftly answered by Gatarada playing inside a lobby, who will continue to hold up on this position. He's got a soft hatch as well. Problem is, he doesn't have any impacts to open it up. Might he have the bailiff in his pocket? He's got Alligator now just to his side, who's going to be watching over towards Zulu. This is very similar to what we saw at Envy Taylor's position when C9 was on defense, as the interest from the attackers was over towards Piano. Right as I say that, though, Gatarada gets swung on by Harper, so at some point, that mute of Alligator is going to need to hurry to get to his teammate's aid. 40 seconds remaining in the round. Cloud9 can go significantly big here if they take this round, as it will ultimately potentially put this match out of reach. There's another 4 CYCLOPS, though, and Alligator trying his best. He pulls out the shotgun, splatters Shyle, and it's Nova and Harper now in a 2v3. There goes the thermite charge, and in springs Nova by White Van, but it's all onto Harper's shoulders as Suzu cleans up, swings on, and 2 big kills for him will give CYCLOPS the round.
My God, what a great play there from the mute upstairs, managing to get those 2 kills. That eliminated the vertical presence for Cloud9, and with the vertical gone, they had to rush deep for sight. They couldn't plant in front of White Van for fear of being destroyed from above. Great job there to Alligator making that play and cinching the round for his team. Also, Suzu down in the site, managing to hold things together as the Mira aggro on White Van. The last 2 players on C9 certainly did not expect that. So, I just talked about it, and I'll reiterate here now, the lead already starting to evaporate for Cloud9, 1 round away from even count as CYCLOPS head over to the lobby for their next defense.
A waiting room, perhaps, as lobbies do. No, there is an actual waiting room, by the way, on this map. It's over by Visa's side.
Yeah, it's so rarely part of the engagement, though. Have you noticed that? I think it's mostly because of the partitions and the fact that you can't like really maneuver a lot in there. There's not solid cover either. I feel like if there was ever a consulate rework, one of the things that I'd like to see happen over in waiting room is just, you know, if you're going to keep the partitions, make them taller so that they're hard cover. Otherwise, maybe just remove them, add different types of cover in or something like that. Just make this area a more playable area because it's so rarely even used by either team. Anyway, that's just
we're also going to be, you also have to glaze over the fact that tastes in music change, and obviously the jazz music that's playing is no longer attractive. For the younger folk, they tend to go more towards EDM, hip-hop. So if they really wanted to spruce it up, that'd be a good opportunity for them to do. Maybe just change the music. Maybe that'll be like alluring enough. I don't know, find like some TikTok star.
Yeah.
Find like a TikTok star and then just put their music in there. It'll go real far.
TikTok stars have their own music? I thought they just used whatever copyright-free music they could slap on their TikTok.
Michael, there is a burgeoning music scene on TikTok right now that is going to eventually control the charts and rule us all, so please get with it, okay?
I do not use TikTok, so I actually have no idea. I'm completely ignorant to that culture. And this as a Zoomer, no less.
Nobody's going to clip you out of context saying the phrase, "I'm completely ignorant." Nobody would do that, right? Right? Nobody would do that. Just getting a sound clip of Kick saying,
you're making it totally too easy for them, Parker. You have to let them put in the work, all right? Like, I'm giving them the opportunities, but you have to make them do the work.
Hold on. On our screen right now, you were talking about how Visa is not really a point of contention for a lot of these teams.
Not necessarily
but
Visa, like
look at what's happening right now. NV Taylor inside of Visa. He's being hunted down by the pulse down below, and BlackRay is with him as well. They could very easily retake through Spiral Stairs. BlackRay can head up towards Visa Stairs, which looks to be the direction he's going in. Is NV Taylor wise to his tricks, though? There's a Nomad in that spot as well, so because NV Taylor's playing that operator, you could very easily air jab it and stop them in their tracks.
Ooh, look at this bullet hole from Gator. He could do a lot of work on that if presented with the opportunity. Right now, though, Cloud9's clear is just for admin office, and they're going to extend that control into Visa as well, but it looks like it's just a strictly east overtake. They don't want to get full top floor control, just enough to go for the plant. So far, that strategy is working out in that they haven't lost any manpower, and they've gotten the control that they desire.
BlackRay's still downstairs. He's got 2 different stairwells to head up. He's going to choose the right one, but he might run into an air jab if he's not too careful. He's just a little bit of ways away. He gets hit by the air jab, waiting for the swing, but it looks like NV Taylor might be a little bit too late. They engage, and NV walks away with that one. 40 seconds left, and the bloodshed is but a couple seconds away. NV Taylor only on 1 HP, so this might be particularly daunting for him. Out goes the very last toxic canister of Suzu, so 30 seconds left. What's your denial going to come from? You've got no Nitro Cell. If you've got Evil Eyes up, you're going to be resting an awful lot on them. Outside of it, it's just simply raw firepower. That's it. And Suzu in this rat spot on the hatch in bathroom. He connects. Down goes Nova. Swings for a second, but a crossfire from the main door. It's Shyle to credit with that kill. Static. Oh, no! He takes out Harper by accident. So Shyle and NV Taylor now in a 1v3 as Shyle charges in, but the diffuser is down and nobody's going to get it. Shyle survives, but nobody able to do the objective means that the round goes in favor of CYCLOPS, and we're tied up 4-4.
Oh boy, strategically that was an absolute blunder from Cloud9, a round that easily could have been theirs with the man advantage. Control is solid. They took over on the east side. Everything's going great for a lobby execute. And then they try to funnel in through piano single. Weird round there from Cloud9, and they're going to take a tactical timeout after losing that one. Rightfully so, as the round count is now 4-4. And the strategy employed there from C9 was just questionable. Why are you going to spend the entire round setting up for an Eastover clear, getting that visa control, admin office control, starting to pressure vertical so that you can execute main lobby, and then completely throw all that work and all that time you placed into that away, throw away the crossfire that you've established between main door and spiral, and then force out for a piano push? I mean, yeah, it could have worked. Could have. Maybe if you had like somebody on repel for piano windows, get that next, that crossfire that's essential. Or if you had someone in CEO for vertical, you got a lot of options. But Cloud9 didn't employ any of those because they were out of time, because they spent so much time trying to do a totally different execute. It's a weird switch up, Parker, and it's one that definitely did not work out for C9.
I think what we've seen from both of these teams, their initial executes have not worked out because they've been far too linear. And I know that we use the word linear to describe this map, so it is somewhat fitting that that same word will now be employed to describe the depth of strategy. But go back to CYCLOPS on attack, the very first round of this map. What do CYCLOPS do? They put 2 people upstairs, 1 in piano, 1 on roam clear. They have BlackRay playing in this floating position. The Ash gets picked off on the top floor. The Sledge is allowed to live for quite a while, but the rest of CYCLOPS all just go in through the breach and they get picked off one by one. Well, what does that accomplish? Very little. Cloud9 seems to do roughly the same thing, except instead of focusing on piano, most of the bloodshed that happened was over towards Visa and lobby. And then, ultimately, the rest of the players try to barrel into the site with limited time, and they get picked off too. Now, the good thing for Cloud9, if they are half as adept, as we saw at a CYCLOPS, Cloud9 will be able to pivot somewhat gracefully and realize we made some small mistakes, we can change it up, and it'll bear more fruit. For CYCLOPS, that's what happened. CYCLOPS looked like they were down pretty bad. They ended up taking 2 rounds in that first half. With how most maps tend to go in a 4-2 favor, either for the attackers or defenders, that's a pretty decent score line. And this is a close map for 2 teams where C9 is historically better. So if C9 wants to be able to get away with this and not give up the map to CYCLOPS, because it's still anybody's game, Michael, we need to see C9 make some adaptations here and learn from the mistakes just as CYCLOPS did on attack.
Looks like this time it'll be the Westover clear for C9 on this Teller's Archives defense. Potential balcony run out for CYCLOPS as they set up for it. Garage will be opened up. Nova trying to pressure in through the main lobby. Good information being gathered by the drone. There's nobody there to contest except for in the piano room. This is definitely a difficult angle for Gatorada to challenge. He'll do some damage to Static, but he's not going to actually get the kill. Just trying to keep himself out of position. Nova will catch, actually, that rotation from Gatorada as he attempts to take into main lobby. So good teamwork there from Cloud9 to pinch off the first pick of the round.
And you see 3 drones in action, droning out bathroom, antechamber, piano. I'm sure one of them is going to go over towards Visa. Now, the problem is that with all that coverage that they had, they're still not able to find the Capkin of Aniton playing over by Visa. He punishes NV Taylor, and down he goes. NV Taylor has widely considered to be what a beautiful shot from BlackRay, and almost a second lined up for him before he gets beaten by Nova. As I was saying, NV Taylor was widely considered to be one of the best players in all of Korea on this game for a long period of time. And if he can't show up big for C9, they're going to need the rest of the team to do just that. As all of these blows come out, though, it's 3v3 with plenty of time for either of these teams to still take it.
That's definitely not over yet. Top control for C9, at least the most part, by Coffin. Jail will start droning his way down those Visa staircases, and or Nova specifically in Visa as well. Harper going to be using his gadget to gather information. That's the great thing with Yana. You've got so much information that can be gathered by those clones. A-Gator, good information from the cardiac sensor as well. So both of these teams are going to know where they're coming from, or each other are coming from, when the engagement happens.
And he tuned his position. All he needs to do is pop up, but he loses the perspective fight to Harper, who will continue to soldier on, grenade in hand, and the Pulse could be doomed for it. His hand spotted just but for a moment, but the UMP wins out in the heads-up gunfight against Harper. Back onto the Pulse scanner he'll go as Nova is there, but shot through the ground, some damage done, but not enough as Cloud9 successfully gets that diffuser down and will continue onward. They just need to hold on. CYCLOPS will retake from the stairs. They know one is on Spiral, and there's some pings, but the TCSG is just not good enough. And Nova with a big clutch on the stairs. Those 2 rounds in a row for CYCLOPS were awfully a tease, I would say, but it's C9 back on top 5-4.
Nova, the hero of that round for Cloud9, 4 kills in the round. He got the entry, he played the objective, and he held the post plant. Well done to Nova, and that's despite the information that was being gathered by the Pulse, giving away Nova's position. He still manages to win those fights. It's also despite the fact that he had already lost quite a lot of HP in previous engagements. So, Cloud9, well, you talked about how if NV Taylor is not the one stepping up, someone else is going to have to. That round, it was Nova, the support player. Cloud9 up 5-4 now. They've retaken their lead. That execution into Teller's Archives working out great. The distraction that was employed there as well when the Ana dropped deep to try and just keep the enemy on their toes for but a second. Worked out for Cloud9. Prevented the denial of the plant. That's good teamwork in a 3 versus 3 when you throw your body at the problem. Sometimes it causes problems, reverberations, because you're losing so much of your manpower, a total third. But didn't affect Cloud9 adversely in that round because Nova was able to compensate.
Well, here's one interesting stat that we do try to keep an eye on now as we'll go back downstairs for CYCLOPS. They prevailed here before, as they also prevailed on that mid floor. Their 3-site rotation, as most teams will try to hold to. Right now, excluding that top floor. An interesting stat is in terms of these opening duels. First bloods, if you want to call it that, etc. Right now, C9 is winning it 8-1. And yet, look at the scoreline. Even if they're getting those opening picks, and many times they're getting those opening picks decently early. It's not like the opening pick is happening, Michael, and then swiftly traded off. A lot of these opening picks are happening when there's very limited answer from CYCLOPS, and yet it's still not enough for C9. What is going wrong with the team that they can't translate such a massive and often lopsided advantage into a victory with the reliability that a lot of other teams can?
Well, could be a number of things. I think a big part of it, of course, is going to be when you're executing. If you're leaving yourself in these like 1vx situations, like look at this. We've got whoever that is outside the window there for Gatorada, completely alone, now waiting to execute into the main lobby. I'm guessing that's MV Taylor by the silhouette. But he's not got anyone in a position to support him. If he dies there, he's dead. Same thing for Static top yellow. He's pushing in, trying to do his best by himself. And, you know, sometimes C9 are good at grouping up. So we had the same thing for CYCLOPS when they were on attack. Sometimes they are. But other times, you're leaving yourself very exposed. And the answer back, even if you get the lead off, isn't hard in those situations for the defenders.
Wondered if Gatorada, by the way, in that very first round, had a bailiff in his pocket to be able to hit that soft hatch in lobby. The answer is yes, as you just see that demonstrated on your screen, and he's gone like the wind. Leaving just Gator up top, and he's fortified inside of the bathroom. Droned out, though, so those soft walls to his right are potentially his undoing. You know, wait with open arms and an SMG-11 in hand, as he's essentially going to be playing to die at this point. Shot through the soft wall, well read by Harper, as they've now got control of bathroom for C9, and will continue onward, but a bit of a missed opportunity. That could be a potential bad blow. Did they get any of it on that hatch? You need 4 shots to take care of it. It looks like they got 2 on it. They'll try again, but the mute jammer is still in place. This is awfully messy for Cloud9.
Yeah, and they do have exothermic charges, so they might still be able to open up anything else they want. That's going to be the garage, but it's a lot of HP on Nova lost as a result. Impact tricking doesn't work, though. That is a huge mistake there from Eniton. To prevent the exothermic charge would have been huge, but because he missed his impact, he just couldn't make it happen.
There's no Jaeger on the board here for CYCLOPS either. They'll rely solely on the Wamai to try and deal with these 2 smokes in the hands of Nova. Off-site, Gatorada falls, and Eniton joins him. Suzu is down, and Black Ray is the last man standing. 1v5, a flawless round for Cloud9 is very much on the board here if this Malusi can't get back. Leg spotted through the opening in bathroom, shrugging off tons of damage, but then eventually succumbing to it as Cloud9 flawlessly take round number 10, and they move to match point.
Big round there for Cloud9, and they are starting to find their stride. I love the way they compartmentalize that attack, where they managed to clear out top floor, middle floor, and then execute for the site. There also was still presence inside of the bathroom when Cloud9 started doing their work, but luckily for them, they still managed to get that kill on the player in the bathroom because Harper was spraying through a wall. I don't even think Harper was trying to kill the bathroom player on Cyclops. He just wanted to open the wall to get more angles, I think, and it happened to be a kill. So it worked out for Cloud9, and with that leadoff, with the roamer presence eliminated and the wall getting opened up in Garage, it was a pretty easy execute into the site. This is a tactical timeout here for Cyclops as they consider their options. They need to get 2 rounds in a row to bring this to overtime.
It can be a particularly tough one as well, but I mean, this kind of matches what we saw the first wave through. The defense came out really strong, and after seeing what the setups were, the attackers came alive. Now, for Cyclops, it was good enough for 2 rounds, that's it. Which is a pretty respectable tally. Like I said, so many of these maps end up going down into 4v2 or 2 and 4 rather, halves, whether it be on attack or defense. You get a map like Chalet, you'll often see the attackers come out 4-2, same with Coastline. A map like Oregon, a map like Clubhouse, which have historically been very defender favored, you're going to see the defense walk away with that 4-2. Consulate is relatively even, so 3-3 is not abnormal, and in fact, might be one of the few maps where we see that the most. Regardless, it's going to be a mighty challenge for Cyclops here because these last 2 executes from Cloud9 have looked better and better. And I mean, the best way to punctuate it was that last round being flawless for C9. C9 were much stronger and more proficient on their roam. They used their utility well, even if we did see that botched set of X-Kairos, but we'll overlook that. And then we're punishing when it came time for the execute because they have narrowed down the defenders that were left on Cyclops' side.
Now, moment of truth. Moment of truth for Cyclops. They have to get those 2 rounds. They'll be going to the main lobby. They'll have to be troopers to get this one.
That was you just trying to get yourself out of the mistake for saying troop, wasn't it?
It was me trying to antagonize you into talking some kind of smack.
I don't need you to antagonize me to talk smack, Michael, okay?
No, but you did it anyway, didn't you?
Damn it, it worked.
No, but no, it was also that though, yeah. Now, Cyclops gonna be on a deep roam here over by Visa. You know what? It's because I talked about it, Parker. That's why people are playing in waiting room. It's just to spite me. They heard me and they're like, nah, you're wrong.
The previous match, by the way, I don't know if people watched, it was a pretty quick one after Dark Zero had some troubles in their first match. Well, they ended up turning it around and did quite well against Cyclops. Cyclops, obviously, much closer to Cloud9 here. A big part of that is because they do face off against each other oftentimes. And when EU plays EU and LATAM plays LATAM and NA plays NA later on, I think you're going to see similar things where because of the experience that these teams have competing against one another, they're going to ultimately be very close matchups. And there will be, with it being a best one, there will very likely be a map chosen between the 2 that is familiar with both. I don't think we're going to see any surprises there.
Now, in this round right now, we've already got yellow control for C9. They're going to do some damage to BlackRay, and actually that's will be a finish off as well. MV Taylor manages to get Gator, and this is looking like the beginning of the end here for C9. Cyclops, 3 men up against Cloud9's 4. Still winnable, but they've lost so much site presence, and they've taken a beating on the roam downstairs as well. This is definitely recoverable, but it's not ideal.
I feel like we called out BlackRay early on for his Twitch play, but then after that, he kind of fell off the map a little bit, and we didn't really have the showing from him that the rest of this team needed. The thing for Cyclops is that they've been pretty even outside of that. No way, Suzu! Are you going to try for a second? No, you're going to get punished for it after cutting MV Taylor down. Nova now inside a piano. Well, he holds that diffuser, and he's waiting to see where everybody is. What's all the hoopla? Gatorada from above will open up a potential line of sight here now as it's Nova in a 1v2. Does he have any intel? That's going to be the real question. He's being spotted on that Evil Eye inside of lobby. He's also going to get slowed by the Banshee. This is a tough spot for him to be in. Well, he's got time, 30 seconds left. There's another Banshee in his way. Sound Q comes out with the diffuser in hand. He'll get spotted, but is it too late? Nova gets away with it. And now Gatorada's going to drop. The Thermite has his back turned to him, but no, there you go. Both Gatorada and Anitoon were in the same direction, working towards the ultimate goal. It's not out for Cloud9 just yet. Cyclops take the round, and we're going to need round 12, all of regulation, to settle this.
Anitoon really is my man of that round in managing to take down so many pivotal players on Cloud9 in his 1v1s. When you get just a few players whittled away on those initial engagements, even though Cloud9 only lost 1 off the initial fights, it still manages to isolate a lot of the 1v1s. Anitoon took full advantage of that, just winning all of his. Big round for him, and Cyclops hold on to this map. Huge stuff. Cloud9, I liked a lot of what we saw from their execution. At the same time, though, it didn't work out for them, but it looked like it was going to, especially after they applied the pressure that was necessary to the roamers downstairs. I don't know if Cloud9 knew about the second roamer downstairs, though. The Pulse was still able to play that round pretty dynamically to distract for Anitoon when the moment came, and that's so crucial. So the retake for Cyclops was definitely what allowed them to take that round, whether it be from the roamer downstairs or Anitoon just coming in from the side. Either way, Cloud9 not prepared for it. And also, I just want to say, what a shame that Suzu was using an SMG-11 to run out on 2 people. Imagine he had any other SMG, just a few more bullets, and 2 kills for him there.
Really good stuff. And honestly, just as a side note, it is so refreshing to be able to cast teams that we don't usually see. We went from casting in Poland for 3 years, Michael, where we covered 3 regions and then had a litany of majors and regular finals where we got to cast teams from all over the world. It's been a long time since then because we've been working solely the NA League, and obviously there hasn't really been much international travel. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but something weird's going on. Kept us all at home, but it is really nice, though. I couldn't help but chuckle about how it's like, well, I really want to cast APAC. Well, good news. Your first match is both of them in the same group. So,
yep,
we get to see what the APAC team gets to see, and it's nice to lend our voices to it. So,
yeah, it is nice. We haven't seen competitive play on an international scale in over a year now. In fact, the last time we saw it really was, well, surprise, surprise, the Six Invitational. So it's cool. It's great. I'm loving every second of it, and it's nice to see the team, the region scale up against each other as well, because they haven't had an opportunity to. So awesome. Now here, as you mentioned, just APAC, and these teams, longtime rivals, Cloud9 still in match point position. And they are the team that you would expect to win this one. They typically do beat Cyclops, but Cyclops are definitely giving Cloud9 a run for the money, and this could easily go to OT.
I feel it. I feel it with the 4-2 that we saw in that first half, is that neither of these teams have looked that much better. I would give right now the nod just to Cloud9 in terms of their team play and in terms of their coordination. But we've seen some really strong individual performances from Cyclops that have kept them in this. And obviously, both teams have committed mistakes when it comes to either being on attack or defense.
Those are... Ooh, Harper going to shut down BlackRay, who's trying to make a hero play through Zulu. Big punish there. You talked about how BlackRay has been put in a corner, Parker, where in this round, the most crucial round of the map, certainly, he will be once again.
Now, BlackRay really has not performed in the manner that his team needs. And there's another now for C9, too, as they're going to continue onward. They are winning all of these opening duels, and still only round 4. That's the only round that C9 did not walk away with this early pick. Well, they've managed to snowball it right now into a 5v2. They earned a flawless round just a couple ago. It will be denied by Anitoon, who's traded off, leaving Ayagator in a 1v4. Could that be it for the run of Cyclops? Yes, it can. That's a pretty swift defeat in that final round, and no overtime on the docket as Cloud9 takes the win.
And GG there. Cloud9 really bringing it together there. Harper. Wow, what a map from Harper. And that last round, so crucial. He got that 3K. This is the man on hard reach, playing Habana. So many impactful frags throughout that series for Harper, and I'm sure that will reflect in his scoreline.
Now, obviously, with the rehost that was thrown in halfway through. These stats are not entirely done. So, I mean, obviously you'll have to look at the live stats, but Harper heading into that last round was 12-7. He was the real standout performer for Cloud9. As for CYCLOPS, that's 2 defeats in a row. It's a rough first day, but there are good teams that will lose games early on. Regardless, that's yours and my first match. I know that's terrible grammar, but whatever. We're going to roll with it.
It works.
We've got lots more action for you. It's a day just blanketed with Rainbow Six coverage, but we've got a break ready for you, and then we'll be back with more of the Six Invitational.